I work hard to earn my pay, and I saved real big today at All-American Ford.
Hey everyone, it's Jason Smino, the marketing director for the All-American Auto Group, and this is the All-American Auto Mall and Old Bridge Updates podcast. This is episode number 9, and we're going to recap the Mustang Mach-E event that we held here at the dealership on Thursday, October 22nd. I'll get into a little bit of our activity on TikTok, and I'll dive a little bit into some auto news that happened this past week. And then we'll end it with our normal segment of my NFL picks for the week. All right, so on Thursday, October 22nd, we held a 2021 Ford Mustang Mach-E Road Tour event here at our dealership, All-American Ford in Old Bridge. It was a great event. Basically, 2 Mach-E experts from Ford came out. They brought 2 Mustang Mach-Es in trailers. And then some of our Ford reps also brought a third Mach-E, and that one they were able to take customers out on test drives. So the customer had to sit in the passenger seat, and the Ford rep would drive them around just to kind of show them the inside and how it would drive. You know, this 2021 Ford Mustang Mach-E is the all-new, all-electric SUV from Ford. Pretty controversial in the beginning because it took the Mustang nameplate. So it got a lot of news in the beginning from that, but really the features are what should be focused on with it, because it is obviously going up against Tesla and the whole all-electric thing, and Ford's even trying to copy their model a little bit with selling only online. So it's a full online e-commerce experience for the customer. And, you know, we've gotten a bunch of orders and reservations, and I think we're finally going to see them come in the coming weeks. I think we're only, you know, less than a month away probably from seeing our first order filled. So it's very exciting. It's a great new model from Ford. At this event, you know, there was a lot of people that showed up, a lot of people excited about it, a lot of just car people that, you know, just wanted to check out the new model. We kind of compared it to, you know, almost like when the big auto show is in the Javits Center in New York City. I usually go to it every year, and you kind of go to it to see the newest models out. So this was a cool thing from Ford where, you know, they don't usually bring out their brand new models to dealerships like this to showcase. So it was kind of a nice, small, contained situation where a customer who's interested could come and see these brand new models, you know, face to face for the first time. So I think it went really well. The reception from customers was really well. We took a couple more orders that day for these. So again, hopefully we start to see them by December. Definitely check out our social media pages. There's a couple of videos up already about them that we did while they were here. And obviously, as soon as we start to get them in, I'll be posting like crazy about them. So I wanted to take a couple of minutes to talk about TikTok. So for anybody that doesn't know, it's, I guess, a social media app, you could call it. And it has been around for what feels like forever now, but it's definitely still one of the newer ones out there. And it just kind of exploded, especially with the younger generation. You know, I think they saw the trend of Instagram with the pictures and videos, and that's what TikTok is. It's more, you know, it's all videos. And it's all about trends and just kind of catching fire and getting on their main newsfeed, you know, page that's called the For You page. So as a dealership, we're probably one of the few dealerships in the country, to be honest with you, that has one. I think for a dealership to have a marketing team is a little rare. I mean, most of them have a marketing person. Sometimes it's done by the BDC manager. Us, because we're a group, obviously, you know, I have kind of grown our marketing team into what it is, and we've tried to always focus on social media and being at the forefront of it. And I was against going on TikTok for a while. When I first watched it, I hated it, to be honest with you. I felt like it was just, you know, teenage girls dancing, and, you know, that was not something that I wanted to get our dealership involved with, not something that I thought anybody outside of high school should be on. But then, you know, celebrities started to get into it. And I think like Facebook and like Instagram, because remember, Facebook started as basically just a college thing. And then, you know, over the years and now decades, it's evolved where those college kids have become parents and they're posting pictures of their kids, which means the grandparents want to be on. So, it's something that I've seen the older generation, not just teenagers, start to use it and start to get into as the celebrities go to it. There's sports teams on there now that have their pages and do funny things as sports teams. A lot of companies are starting to get into it, but it's still very, very new. And obviously TikTok's been in the news a lot with, I guess the government trying to shut it down because of the connections with China and stuff. And now there's just American companies trying to buy it to keep it here. So who knows how the litigation will go with it. But it was something that, we have our performance specialist here. Her name is Virginia, and she's very big on social media. So she started here as a receptionist, and nobody here knew about her social media presence when we hired her. She started as a receptionist, and I think one of the salespeople noticed her as having a large social media presence. Her handle on Instagram is Diesel Barbie, and she's very big into, building trucks, and she has, a diesel truck that she's building right now. Probably knows more about vehicles than most people in our dealership, to be honest with you. And she also does a little modeling on the side. So she's got a cool story where, the reason for picking out the name Diesel Barbie and the history behind it. And I'll have her on this podcast to kind of talk herself about it. But basically, when she started as a receptionist, and she's since moved up, she worked in our BDC department, which is Business Development Center, like answering leads, answering phone calls, customer outreach, stuff like that. And she's grown into, a performance specialist where she helps sell some of our performance and specialty vehicles and then aftermarket parts and stuff like that. So with her social media presence, obviously she knew way more about like Instagram and social media than I did. And so that was very attractive to me from a marketing standpoint. So she's helped grow our social media pages for sure. But she kind of got us into TikTok. So she was doing TikToks, and, you just see the thousands and even tens of thousands and even hundreds of thousands of views that you get from it. And so that's kind of how we got into it. I kind of wanted to just, start it slow and easy and just get it up there and see where it goes. And, eventually maybe it turns into like a Facebook or an Instagram where companies and dealerships are all over it, and, even pushing sales and service business through it. So right now we kind of just do it to push our custom and performance. And I have been posting some of the Mach-E stuff. And yeah, it gets hundreds of thousands of views. So our record so far for a video is 427,000 views, which was done with a blue Shelby F-150. One of our other BDC ladies named Jill, she did this TikTok trend. I don't know. It was something weird where you just spill water on somebody next to you for one of the trending songs. So she did it with a bright blue, beautiful Shelby F-150, and it just exploded and kind of went viral and got us to the 400K plus views. But I've been posting from the Mach-E event, a couple of the videos now. And, one of them, just the Mach-E backing out of the trailer when it got here. Very simple video. I used one of the trending songs, whatever it was, and it's already over 400,000 views. And then, I posted the Mach-E welcome screen, which for anybody that doesn't realize, a welcome screen, and this was a contention on TikTok and had a lot of comments of people just not understanding it. A welcome screen in a vehicle is when you open the door, the animation starts, right? It welcomes you into the car, basically. And at any point, you could shut it off by starting the car. And that's how you get, the screen to just be on the screen that you need when you start the car. So I posted a video of just the welcome animation, which is a nice animation of, a blue line going around the Mustang Mach-E. And it has 90K views on TikTok. And, a lot of the comments were just people completely confused. They thought that it was a loading screen and that you had to wait before you started the car. And, it's almost a minute animation if you let it run the whole way through. So I thought that was pretty funny. But, we're getting the engagement. A lot of it, again, is still those teenage kids that are on it. And, just flexing their social media muscles. They finally have a voice or whatever. But so there's some negativity, but a lot of positive out of it. A lot of people having fun with it. We're trying to have fun with it more and more. So if you have a TikTok out there, definitely follow our page and, provide your feedback. We're always interested in feedback. We're going to keep trying to do funny stuff with the trends and seeing how we could relate them to, the automobile industry. So check that out if you have a TikTok, because we've got some pretty cool videos up there so far. All right. So now that our October events are kind of winding down, if you've listened to the first bunch of episodes of this podcast, I really started the podcast because of all the events that we had going on in October. We had a lot of different things. So a lot of the episodes touch on those. But now I'll kind of get more into the automotive industry and auto news and, more stuff like that on a weekly basis. So just for a quick segment in this episode, some of the big things in the news this past week or two that I'll touch on. So the first thing I found really cool was that the all-new Bronco Sport nabbed the off-road win at the prestigious Rebelle Rally this past week. I had never heard of it, but I did some research on it, and it's actually really cool. So it is an all-female competition. It's the first women's off-road navigation rally in the United States, and it's the 5th year it's been happening. So it's this grueling week-long adventure of 1,200 miles through Nevada and California, basically through the desert. And basically you have a driver and a navigator, and you have to do it old school with a compass and a map, rather than relying on electric GPS mapping. So the Bronco Sport, in the class that it was in, it's called X-Cross, that's the class. There was 3 Bronco Sports entered into the rally, and one of them came in first place and the other 2 came in 5th and 6th. So I just thought that was a cool thing. I learned something new with this all-female competition, which seems pretty cool. I would never be able to drive a week in the desert and navigate through it, no matter if I had electronic GPS or not. So hats off to those ladies. It's pretty cool, and a cool win for the Bronco Sport, which we talked about in previous episodes, and it's going to hit dealerships probably within the next few weeks towards early December, I'd say. And then the second cool piece of news from Ford was that they announced that the Bronco 4-door and 2-door, which are coming out probably closer to the summer of 2021, their price and build configurator is now live on Ford.com. So I know a lot of people were waiting for that. Now you could go on Ford.com, you could build it from scratch, all the features, see all the colors, all that stuff. You've been able to do that with the Bronco Sport, obviously, for a while now, because it's coming out in December, so a lot of orders are already in. But now for the bigger 4-door and 2-door Broncos, you could finally do that on Ford.com. So that was a cool announcement that came out this week. So if you're interested, you could find it on our website and then on Ford.com. Last thing I wanted to kind of touch on related to auto news, to not just keep this, all about my brands, Ford and Subaru. And you will notice that I am biased even when I bring up other news, and that's expected, right? My family owns a Ford and Subaru dealership and, some other brands as well, but I'm obviously going to be biased towards those brands. So take everything with a grain of salt. I try and have a little fun with it. I'm by no means not being transparent about how I feel about some of these brands. But basically the big thing I'd say from any non-Ford or Subaru brand in the news was the announcement of the new Hummer that's coming out. So from GMC. So it's an all-electric Hummer, and it caught my attention because I think I was watching one of the World Series games. Might have been Game 1 or Game 2, and the commercial came on, and I had not seen anything in the news about this, so it was a complete surprise. So, hats off to them. I thought that was pretty cool. It's always cool when you could completely surprise somebody like me who, I try and read as much auto news as I can. So, it's basically this sub-brand of GMC now. So it's going to be like the Hummer brand. It's going to be a couple different trucks and a couple different SUVs eventually. And I think it caught a lot of attention. It was very good marketing. It's a little bit, again, here comes my bias, a little bit bait and switch, because you kind of watch it, you get excited about it, but it was more of, a here's what's to come, because when you look at it and you find it online and read about it, it's a 2022 model. And so you're not going to see it until late next year at the earliest. And it gets you all pumped up in the video. It shows that it's 1,000 horsepower and it's all electric. And then you look it up and you realize that the price tag is like 110K. So, as I'm watching it, I'm thinking, oh, wow, GMC, this is their answer to the Mustang Mach-E, because this is almost how Ford did it with a couple of years ago. They came out with their first teaser video of the all-electric SUV, and I thought that this was going to compete with it. But, that price tag and the fact that it's, more of a truck, a pickup truck, it's a little bit different. But I think where the comparison comes in for me is the whole idea of this sub-brand thing. Because I think when they announced that the Mustang Mach-E was going to be an all-electric SUV, a lot of Mustang diehards got upset that they were using the Mustang name. But I think it's a trend you're going to see a lot more moving forward with all manufacturers, where they're taking these nameplates that have so much equity and so much just, they're so well known, they have so much marketing equity, that they're going to spin those nameplates into sub-brands. And that's exactly what Ford is doing with the Mustang. Because now the Mustang, there's still going to be a regular Mustang, which I think is a misconception out there. A lot of people think this Mustang Mach-E is just replacing all Mustangs, but it's not. It's a sub-brand. So you're going to have the regular Mustang, gas, still we're going to have the V8 probably. Still going to have the GT. You're going to have the Shelby Mustang still. So the Shelby GT 500, I know they're getting rid of the GT 350, but they still have the GT 500. They're still going to have the Mustang Shelby Super Snake. And then they're going to have this Mustang SUV, this all-electric SUV to carry the nameplate as well. So it's almost like a Mustang sub-brand. And they're doing the same exact thing with the Bronco, right? So the Bronco, a lot of people don't realize, everybody just hears the Bronco's coming out. It's not, the Bronco is not just one model anymore. It's a Bronco family. It's a sub-brand. It's the Bronco Sport, the Bronco 4-door, and the Bronco 2-door. So there's now 3 Bronco models within the Bronco sub-brand. And it wouldn't surprise me if, those 2 different sub-brands, the Mustang nameplate and the Bronco nameplate, turn into other vehicles. And that's exactly what they're doing with the Hummer. So the Hummer is going to be now trucks and SUVs. It's going to be a Hummer sub-brand within GMC. So I think it's interesting. I think with the reaction I've seen so far from the Mustang Mach-E, it's been largely positive. But again, it's been a lot of those Mustang diehards that are just never going to accept that an SUV has taken the Mustang name. So honestly, I can't wait to see the reaction of this all-electric Hummer. Because if you remember the Hummer, I mean, that nameplate died in 2010, so it's been, 10 years now. But that thing was known as like the gas guzzling, like army truck type thing, like too big and too obnoxious to actually own. And now it's being turned into an all-electric vehicle. So I could only see, Hummer diehards just completely rolling over and just, flipping out over this after seeing some of the Mustang diehards kind of flip out over it. So I thought that was interesting. So definitely something we'll be following, and good for GMC with their marketing so far, because they got, a ton of attention from it. They caught my attention with it, and I think it could be interesting. But you're going to see these sub-brands become a trend with all manufacturers, and you're going to see all electric become a trend. Obviously, it's been a buzzword for a while, but it is the future, whether people like it or not. And there's still going to be those diehards that say they need gas only, and they're going to fall behind with the times, because it's where all manufacturers are going. And you see this now with, the prestigious Mustang nameplate being used for it, the Hummer brand, which, when you think of it, had almost the complete opposite of being all electric, and now it's all electric. So those are the 2 trends that are going to continue, and, we'll continue to touch on it as we move forward. All right, so just real quick to end the episode with my NFL picks. As everybody knows, who's been listening so far to the series, I'm a big NFL fan. My brothers are here. A lot of the managers are, so we have a lot of fun with it. So I've been making 3 picks every week against the spread, 3 different tiers of confidence level, the Shelby F-150, the Explorer, and the EcoSport. So I tried to relate it back to Ford vehicles. So last year I did pretty well. I went 2-1, not too bad. I lost my Shelby F-150 pick. I won my Explorer pick, which that tier 2, that Explorer seems to be my sweet spot. I'm 6-1 with those picks so far this season. So that's an incredible win percentage so far against the spread. And then my EcoSport, my lowest level of confidence pick, I won. So I moved over 500 with that, going 4-3 so far this season. So last week overall, I went 2-1. Total for the season, 13-8. Not bad against the spread, but still looking for my first 3-0 week. So hopefully I get it this week. So my episode 9 pick of the weeks, the Shelby F-150, I'm taking the Seahawks, giving a field goal to the 49ers. For the Explorer, I'm taking the Cleveland Browns over the Las Vegas Raiders. Again, almost a field goal they're giving. And then EcoSport, pick of the week, I'm going to go with the Panthers tonight. Again, giving about a field goal against the Falcons. So those are my picks. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and we'll be back next week.
Well, everyone can